Here we go. I'm just talking to myself right now, but that's okay. New to this live stream thing, and I fully expect to put this up on the channel for your guys' viewing afterwards, after this live stream. I'm not talking to anybody right now, but, I'm just going to – it's good to get my thoughts out there about this game just because, I don't know, there's a lot to talk about, and yeah, so Packers 42, Lions 21. Lions fall to 0-2. The Packers are now 2-0. They scored, 43, 45 points last week, and now they followed up with another 40 piece this week, which is kind of funny because when I had that podcast with Rob before the season started a couple weeks ago, I said that the Lions and the Vikings were going to be the powerhouses of the NFC North. And here we are. It's week 2, and the Packers are 2-0, and the Bears are 2-0, and the Vikings and the Lions are 0-2. And the Packers look like they could win the Super Bowl tomorrow if it were to happen tomorrow. So, yeah. But, let's get into – I got the team stats up here. I also got the box score. And then I'll finish it up by saying giving away some game balls and saying some losers, I guess you could say, some losers on the Lions because, let's face it, the whole team is losers, especially that one guy we call head coach called Matt Patricia. But yeah, there was just a couple guys that went above and beyond as far as the suck fest went today, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So first quarter was actually not that bad for the Lions. It was the second, third, and fourth quarter that was just painful. The first quarter, going into the commercial break, I actually was thinking to myself, that was actually not a terrible quarter. Now, granted, the defense was only out there for one drive, and they let up a field goal. And our offense was out there for 2 drives and scored a touchdown on both marches down the field. One was a nice throw to Marvin Jones from Stafford. And I'm trying to remember and then Kerryon Johnson. What was his stats today? 8 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown. Averaged 4 yards a carry. I mean, again, he probably could have ran for more, granted that we were actually in this game. Peterson led the way with 7 carries, 41 yards. That's unacceptable. Well, what's unacceptable is he only got 7 carries. That man really deserves a minimum of 10 carries every game. So 7 carries for 41 yards comes up to the 5.9 average. That's just crazy for a 35-year-old. But it's just sad that the offensive line is really batted up or injured this early in the season to the point where Stafford's getting hit now and he's getting up limping, and we got Joe Dahl on IR and Halapaludi Vaitai, however the hell you say his name. He hasn't played a game yet, and we're paying him what, 11, 12 million a year. So that's a good time. Same with Jamie Collins. Well, actually, he had a decent game today. What was his stats? 5 tackles. He got a sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a quarterback hit. So he kind of led the way as far as pass rushing went. If you would even go as far as saying that there was a pass rush today. Somehow Jeff Okuda led the way in tackles with 7. All right. You gotta give the kid some credit. Playing Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field for your first career start is not the most ideal situation. The ideal situation would have been starting your NFL career at Ford Field against Mitchell Trubisky, in a comfortable environment against a shitty quarterback, but instead you're at Lambeau Field where the Lions just tend to suffer, and Aaron Rodgers just tends to target the hell out of young kids and backups. So, but 7 tackles ain't half bad. Um, I guess we can start by saying, well, let's keep talking about the defense here. Jared Davis sucks so bad. Like same with the Tavai. He didn't have a great game. The Christian Jones, you never see his name called. What was he? Where even is he? Oh, okay, 5 tackles. The linebackers just overcommit so much to like you just get the running back just gets a misdirection going, and there was so many times this game where the the whole defense of the Lions is just running in one direction, and no one is staying home. No one. Everyone is just going to the direction of the ball, and all it takes is just one cutback, and your running backs got 15 yards, and that just happened way too many times today. I won't even get into that first play of the second half where Aaron Jones just takes it 80 yards to the house on the first freaking play. That was pathetic. The defense as a whole, I could go on and on about the defense. The defense as a whole needs, there was so much reason for optimism. We have so much new faces. Okuda, Trufant. Well, he didn't play today. Deron Harmon, Danny Shelton. Danny Shelton, where were you at today, dude? I heard your name called at least maybe one time today. Who else? Jamie Collins. All right, he had a decent game. He had the only sack for the Lions today. Romeo Quara, didn't hear your name. Omani Oruwariye, didn't hear your name. Tracy Walker, only with 2 tackles, even though he seemed to. I mean, he didn't get burned a lot. It was Will Harris who was getting burned, and he ended up getting 5 tackles somehow. So, but the box score doesn't tell the story in this game. But the story of this game was just the Packers' offense is super good, and the Detroit Lions' defense is just super bad. And at this rate, they're going to struggle again next week against the Arizona Cardinals, who have a monster offense as well, led by Kyler Murray, who I think is a really underrated quarterback. They got newcomer DeAndre Hopkins and a lot more underrated weapons on that offense. So the defense is going to struggle again next week. We'll probably lose, and then we'll probably lose to the Saints next week. So the ideal situation would be firing Matt Patricia 3 weeks from now when the Lions are on a bye. Oh, or I could also see them firing Patricia today or tomorrow. I would not be surprised if that happened, but I would also not be surprised if it doesn't happen because I know that the Fords are sitting up in their high chairs right now saying, well, there wasn't any preseason games and no one got any work and just there wasn't a lot of I mean, all they had there was a shortened training camp, there wasn't OTAs and yada yada yada. We're still trying to figure out what we got on this football field. No. I know what we got out on this football field, and it's a bunch of bums on the defense and the offense that is decent, but just can't stay in the games by themselves because they have zero help from their defense. Matthew Stafford, 20 for 33 for 244 yards, an average of 7.4 per attempt, 2 touchdowns, an interception, that being a pick six, sacked 4 times, quarterback rating of 91 even. Stafford's had a pretty rough go of it this so far in 2020. Did not have a great game last week against the Bears, and he even said it himself. He was a little rusty. He forced a couple balls, and the same thing happened this week. He forced a few balls, and oh my goodness, that sack that he took at the end of the second half when we were trying to make a drive here and trying to score before halftime, but instead you don't score and you give it back to the Packers, and they end up scoring both before halftime and after halftime with that big Aaron Jones run. So yeah. Stafford, I know many people are calling for Stafford right now because it's easy. He's the quarterback, he's the leader of this team, and when the team's not doing well, you can it's easy to point fingers at him. But I'm gonna sit here again and be my optimistic self and say that Matthew Stafford is not the problem with this team. It's the coach. It's the coaching staff. The coaches have got to be better. The talent's out there on the field, but it's just something's going on with the coaching. You can even make the same art. The offense was. I mean, granted that they were playing behind the whole game. That's probably why they only put up 21 points and they struggled. And there was a couple 3-and-outs in there and a bunch of missed opportunities. And Stafford threw that pick six, where again, that's on Stafford right there. I will 100% say that was a huge mistake on Stafford's fault. And it all started when Agnew decided that he was going to go block someone after waiting for a fair catch. That's again another example of poor coaching. That's just our new special teams guy has got to get on his grill there and say you can't do that. And I love how the Jamal Agnew experience has been going so well for the Lions. I think he's been targeted maybe one time. Um, so yeah, we probably could use him on the defensive side of the ball right now, to be honest, since the secondary is just the Walking Dead out there. Um, it was good to have Okuda back, and the box score says he had a pretty good game, but he went through a lot of growing pains today. Um, that's just it is what it is. It was his first NFL game. You gotta just roll with the punches on that one. But the defensive line is. I hope they're going to be running sprints in practice this week. They probably won't be because the coaches suck. But they just what where's Trey Flowers? He's not even on the box score here. What he was totally unexistent. Trey Flowers, where were you? Romeo Quara, where were you this game? We were relying on freaking. I don't even know who was the best player. There was no best player on the defensive line today. It was just unacceptable. I haven't even gotten into how the Packers did today. There's the one stat that will just knock you out of your seat is. Hang on. The Packers had 259 total rushing yards. Aaron Jones had 18 carries for 168 yards and 2 touchdowns for an average of 9.3 yards per carry. That's like pee-wee football number. That's like video game numbers. And Aaron Jones is a decent running back, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's a superstar running back. The Lions made him look really good today. And it's even worse when you think about it. The Packers offensive line, they got some good tackles and everything. They got Bakhtiari on the left and Wagner. God, I was surprised to see him go through the entire game today, because it seemed like when he marched out there for our team, he was he was injured by the third quarter at least. But the offensive line, the Packers, is nothing to write home about. And it's just unbelievable. How do you give up 259 rushing yards? That's just. And meanwhile, the Lions have 89 rushing yards. I think Peterson had more than that just in last week's game. Lions had 1 sack. Packers had 4. And again, what am I looking for? The Lions defense had 0 turnovers today and 0 turnovers last week, which is just another thing that just makes you shake your head, because it's just this defense is like, I don't even know what to compare them to. It's giving me a headache just thinking about how bad they are. We go out there and get a new defensive coordinator in Unlin, and that's going really well. so many so many new faces on this defense, and it's just why is it we, there's talent out there on the field. You can see well unless you're looking at Jared Davis because that guy is awful. I don't know why Bob Quinn really is probably like what was going through my mind when I picked this guy because it's honestly just it's infuriating how bad he is, and he was a first round draft choice. So much hype. And if you think about it, that whole draft is probably like that whole draft class for the Lions in what was it 2017 is laughable. The first round was Jared Davis, and the second round was Tease Tabor. Are you kidding me? But I'm not really mad at Bob Quinn after this loss. Again, it's just the roster has talent on it, and a lot of it was on the injured list. A lot of that talent was inactive today. If you look at Galladay, oh my God, could we have used him? We miss him so much, dude. And then Vitae, we don't know how good the Lions Twitter is saying, oh well, he was a backup in Philadelphia. We don't know how he's going to be until we see him out on the field, and we honestly could have used him today. And same with Joe Dahl. I mean, you can say what you want about him, but that's another body that we could have used out there today. So there's talent on this team, and a lot of it was hurt. But at the same time, the Packers were the better team today. Aaron Rodgers went 18 for 30 for 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 107.6 rating. He didn't even have to be great today. He didn't. He really didn't. It was all on. It was all on Aaron Jones. The Packers after the first half were like, you know what? Why don't we just keep running the ball? Because the Lions really just can't stop us right now. And sure enough, that was the first play of the second half was an 80-yard touchdown run by Jones. And that was pretty much what the game right there. I mean, there was a little glimmer of hope when Stafford threw that great touchdown pass to Marvin Hall at the end of the third quarter, I want to say. I haven't even gotten into the offense yet. I don't even know where they are on the sheet. Oh, there's a back. Okay. Hawkinson, 4 catches for 62 yards. I really liked how Hawkinson's looked. He looks really comfortable out there. We just need to target him more. Swift had 5 catches for 60 yards. I like the way he bounced back today, even though, I mean, it wasn't a huge impact. It was good to see that he didn't drop any balls. And Amendola, he only had 2 catches for 21 yards, but oh my gosh, can that guy catch a ball under pressure? I'm so happy that man came back for another year because he bails us out of a lot of situations. Again, only 2 catches for 21 yards, but I think both of those catches were on third down conversions. So, and then again, I think Stafford overthrew him like twice too. Oh, and Aaron Jones was not only their leading rusher, but also their leading receiver. He got 4 catches for 68 yards and a touchdown. The guy must have had like 50 fantasy points. Unbelievable. What else do I want to say about this game? I guess my MVP for the Lions would have to be Jack Fox. He's probably the best so far in the first 2 games. He has been the best free agent. I don't even remember where we got this guy from, but so far in the first two games, this guy has been our MVP this year. Let's see here, 5 punts for a total of 271 yards, average of 54.2 yards. I think his average last week was about 49.5 yards. He pinned 2 punts inside the 20, and his long was 67 yards. But I think that was the one in the early fourth quarter where the Lions were backed up on their own like 3-yard line, and they decided to punt. And he was staying in the back of the end zone, and he kicked it to the opposite 30-yard line. So that's actually a 70-yard punt because, well, obviously they're not counting the yardage that he's standing in the end zone. But, oh my God, can Jack Fox bomb a football out of the freaking stadium, dude? I just hope that we don't have to use him as much because the offense, they were clicking in the first quarter, dude. They were clicking. They scored touchdowns on both of their drives in the first quarter. Second quarter, they missed some opportunities. Stafford, again, he took that sack. Again, we were trying to drive before the halftime. He took that sack. He knows better than that. He did not need to take that. And I forget what. I was in the bathroom or something. Somehow we got into like Prater range, I should say, where he lined up for the 57-yarder and shanked it. But again, that was a missed opportunity. Probably, maybe Prater doesn't have it anymore. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows, dude? He was 0 for 1 today, 3 for 3 on extra points. He's on my fantasy team. I really need him to do better. But yeah, the offense in the second half wasn't terrible. And then we saw after a commercial break where Darrell Bevel rallied the guys together and was yelling at them and getting on their ass. And that's cool and all. And I think I like Darrell Bevel, to be honest. I mean, I like his play schemes. His play calling could be better. Especially last week, it was way too conservative. And then this week it was better, obviously, because it was the obvious way to go was to, throw the football because you're down 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. You're gonna throw the football, or else, because if you start running it, then everyone's gonna start looking at you like, are we trying to come back in this game? But anyway, Bevel's okay. And then we saw after that huddle that they had, they went out there and that they got that Stafford to Marvin Hall touchdown, which was cool and all. And then you're like, okay, so we're down, what was it, 13, 14, 15 points? And you're like, okay, so if we can just get a stop, maybe, just maybe we can get back in this game. And then you remember, oh, wait, the defense can't get a stop or crap. That we have Jared Davis as our middle linebacker. We have Jelani Tavai right next to him, who's a second-year pro out of Hawaii, who we wasted a second-round draft pick on. And meanwhile, he only got 6 tackles. Okay, all right. He had a decent game. He was the second on the team in tackles. We got Christian Jones, who we just gave an extension to. Maybe heard his name twice today. We got Jamie Collins. I'll give him some credit. He had a decent game today. He had the team's only sack. The defense is just so pathetic, dude. So pathetic. And I'm sure you guys, whoever's watching, I'm sure you guys are sick and tired of me ranting about how bad they are. But it's plain and simple. And, Patricia should get fired in either tomorrow or in the coming weeks. And God, it's frustrating because this is a new defensive coordinator here, and you see the Packers rush Stafford, and he's under duress, and he's moving around the pocket, and he's having to make throws on the run, and he's having to run for third down conversions, and meanwhile Rodgers is just so comfortable. He's looking through his options. He's getting his 3-step drop back. He maybe has to like move out of the way of one guy, but he's just, and give credit to Rodgers, dude. He's still so good, so good. But the pass rush, I don't know. If any of you have like watched my videos on the Lions before, you know how much it aggravates me when they rush 3 guys, and for some reason, Umlin now is deciding, on third downs when it's obvious passing situation, we're only going to have 1 down lineman. We're going to have our linebackers up right on the line, and we're going to have Danny Shelton in a stance, and that's going to be it. Where is the disguise? Where's the trickery here? Rodgers is getting up to the line. They're in man coverage. Okay, this should be easy. Devontae Adams or check down route to Jones, or Valdez Scantling bomb because he just beat Okuda, or Lazard or their poor whoever, dude. It's just so aggravating because we saw last week with Trubisky where when in the second half he looked like Tom Brady out there. If you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, I'm sure this has been said millions of times before, but if you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, he can stand and he gets to stand back there as long as he wants. It doesn't matter who's in your secondary. You can have a secondary with Stephon Gilmore and Jalen Ramsey and whoever is the best safety in the league right now, Jamal Adams, whoever. They're going to complete a pass. They're going to make a throw. They're going to lead their team down the field and make plays. And because quarterbacks in this league are good, even Mitchell Trubisky can have his days, as we saw last week in Ford Field when we lost in the fourth quarter after having a 23-6 lead. It's just unacceptable. Every time I see the Lions rush three guys, it gives me I want to I don't know what I want to do. I want to take a nail and put it under my thumb, take one of those drywall nails, put it underneath my toenail, my big toenail, and kick a wall. So, player of the game for the Lions is Jack Fox, the punter. Losers of the game, Jared Davis, you sucked. And then Will Harris, who decided that he was going to go and murder Valdez-Scantling and some other guy on back-to-back plays and basically give the Packers 50 free yards and a touchdown. So, yeah, Will Harris needs to be better. Not to mention we wasted a third-round pick on him. He's not paying off. To compare, Will Harris is a third-round pick and Tracy Walker is a third-round pick. And Tracy Walker is leaps and bounds better than Will Harris. Tracy Walker, I think, is the best draft pick besides Galladay that Bob Quinn has had. That he only had 2 tackles today on the box score, but that kid I love that guy. He does not care what happens. He does not care what he's just going to go out and make plays, dude. Lions were 6 for 12 on third down. The total yards, Lions had 307. The Packers 488. How? Again, I'll just go on into another rant about the defense. If that number makes me want to rant about the defense some more, but that's what I've been doing the majority of this stream, so I'll just save that. Really, the only good news coming out of this game is it didn't seem like the Lions had many injured players, especially if you were keeping up with what was happening around the NFL today. So many players are getting hurt because, again, those preseason games and then the lack of practicing is really detrimental to these teams. And that's just the way of COVID. So it's going to be whoever you put out on the field. It's just going to be a battle of who's better, of who you can put out on the field. Hopefully Galladay can come back next week because we sure as hell are going to need him. And I heard that he is pretty close to coming back. So hopefully we can get him, maybe Trufant. That would be great. And then Vaitai, because I really want to see that guy play. And I just know that he'll go out there and stink it up, and then he'll give me another headache. So that'll be cool. Other than that, the defense has 0 takeaways. They have 1 forced fumble, which was last week against the Bears. But anyway, they have 0 takeaways in 2 games. And I guess the offense has 2 turnovers in 2 games, so that isn't terrible. They haven't lost any fumbles. So the Packers are the team to beat. It's because I was crapping on them on that podcast that we did a couple weeks ago. I said they weren't going to be as good as they were last year. They look pretty damn good. They have 90 combined points in 2 weeks. I gotta check. What did they have last week? Oh, dang. They play the Saints next week. Okay. They put up 43. 43 points last week. Again, looking ahead to next week, the Lions are at Arizona, who is currently up 14-zip on the Washington football team. In the second quarter right now. That's going to be a tough game. It'll give me post-traumatic stress about the week 1 last season. Hopefully TJ Hawkinson will have a cool game or a good game. That would be nice. He's been playing pretty well. I already said that, but TJ Hawkinson, I talked about it in the video I did like a month ago, and I have faith in him. And everyone should really have faith in him. It's just that, he hasn't really played the way that an 8th overall pick should play. But again, you got to look at his injuries he had last year and the sample size. And so far this year, well, what's he have again today? 4 catches, 62 yards. So 10 fantasy points. So if you started him, how are you feeling? Yeah, Hawkinson, Marvin Jones. The reason why he hasn't been playing well is because everyone knows that with Galladay out, he's the number 1 guy. So there's nothing really you can do about that. He caught a touchdown today. Quintez Cephas, 3 catches, 54 yards. I like the way he's got some good hands. And again, he doesn't even look that slow out there. There was a lot of concern about, again, his speed. He didn't have a good 40 time at the combine. But he honestly doesn't look terribly slow. He got 3 balls on 3 targets. He caught a 36-yard pass. I forget when that was, but again, Cephas looks pretty good, and he's even outperforming Amendola and Jones. So, all right. Well, I'll start wrapping it up here. Again, Packers 42, Lions 21. If you're watching right now, thank you. This is my first time doing this, and it'll probably be the last time. Maybe we'll see. Because the Lions don't really give you much to talk about. to be brutally honest, they really don't. I was hoping that the Lions were going to win and this was going to be a fun time and I was going to be interacting with people and saying, "Oh yeah, that was a cool play." And now this whole thing just turned into me ranting about the defense because it's just so bad, dude. Okay, so thank you all for watching. This has been Motor City Sports Central Live, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'm hoping to make a video about either the Lions or the Detroit Pistons draft video, talking about who they should draft and why and stuff like that, because the draft class this year isn't really that stacked. But again, there's players out there that the Pistons I think could get that could make an impact. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully school lightens up a little bit. I'll be able to work on that. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. So again, thank you all for watching. Go Lions and peace out.